You may be wondering what Smokey Bear, Thailand, and America have in common. Let's open the history book and find out.
Actually, sir, we've been booked into a small theater in New Mexico.
Whoa, slow down there, Maestro. There's a New Mexico?
Yes, there is a New Mexico, and I've managed to get a couple of people wearing their t-shirt. Let's go back in time to World War II. During the spring of 1942, a Japanese submarine surfaced near the coast of Santa Barbara, California, and fired shells that exploded on an oil field very close to the Los Padres National Forest.
In the towns and communities west of Santa Barbara, they still haven't forgotten. At roughly 7 o'clock on the evening of February 23, 1942, a Japanese submarine surfaced off the coast near the Elwood oil field and began shelling, firing 16 rounds over a period of 20 minutes, lighting up the sky with explosion after explosion.
All of American resources were needed during the war to include wood. Unfortunately, many of the firefighters were now soldiers, and officials were concerned that our national forest could be destroyed. So the government experts decided to work with the Forest Service to prevent forest fires. Therefore, Smokey was created to help educate the American public about the dangers of wilderness blazes.
In August of 1944, artist Alfred Staley painted a bear pouring a bucket of water to drown a campfire. The bear, appropriately named Smokey, was used for the 1945 fire prevention campaign.
You can camp upon his doorstep and he'll make you feel at home. You can run and hunt and ramble anywhere you care to roam.
Smokey was actually a black bear cub found by firefighters from New Mexico during the massive Capitan Gap Fire of 1950 and lived at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. until his death in 1976. Oh, and it's Smokey Bear, not Smokey the Bear.
Hello, Tree.
Trees are everybody's friends. Remember, only you can prevent forest fires.
This photo from the New Mexico Museum of Space History marks the site where the first atomic bomb was exploded. Trinity was the code name of this nuclear weapon, and the test was conducted by Uncle Sam in 1945 as part of a Manhattan Project. About 16 years ago, Dee's family decided that I had to go to Quai Noi to see the American bomb. We set off with the father-in-law along with his old friend, and in less than an hour we arrived at a train station that had the old bomb on display. Here is the story. The guy on the left is Dee's father, who passed away years ago. The other gentleman, who is also now deceased, was his friend, and as young men they were working as laborers in this area clearing the jungle. This is the train station that was near the site they worked at. This bomb that is on display was retrieved from the famous River Kwai Bridge that the Americans bombed during World War II. The Japanese army used POWs and Asian slave laborers to build this bridge. The railway ran for 250 miles from Thailand to Burma and is now known as the Death Railway. The work started in 1942 and was completed in a year under horrible conditions. The Death Railway earned its name from the sheer number of lives lost during its construction. New Mexico has a long history of traditional Native American arts and crafts. Long before the United States even existed, the local folks have been making things by hand. Thailand also has some remarkable craftsmen. Remember the friend of Dee's father? Before I show you what he built, let's stop by his house. The details of why he was living here were rather sketchy, but supposedly he had worked in Saudi Arabia as a labor foreman and made lots of money. After a few years, he returned to Thailand and eventually spent it all enjoying life. This is actually the house that he grew up in, but nobody has lived there for years until he moved back in. There was no electricity nor running water, and the inside of the house was rough, much like the man living there. Here's his kitchen. This is where he slept, and this was his bathroom. He explained to us that at this stage of his life, he didn't want to live anywhere else, and that he also knew his days were numbered. He then asked if he could build us a sofa and table, and at that point we had no idea what he was capable of, and we reluctantly said okay. To be honest, I was just trying to help the old man out. See that sofa he's sitting on? It was made by hand at D&G and took about a month to build. No power tools were involved. Right now, I'm in our waterfall museum. This table and chairs were also built by him. A true craftsman. It's just simply amazing. Thailand is known for having spicy peppers, and New Mexico is no different.
อยากให้มาลองพริกเม็กซิกันนะคะรับรองว่าอร่อยค่ะ Please try our pepper that is very good.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the Lone Star State.